Alrighty guys, welcome back. So let's go to our code and start having some fun. I'm gonna go to the game instance, open it. For people who are using Rudder, I think if you hate paying for it, you can try to use Visual Studio 2022 now. It's actually much better than 2019 when it comes to auto completion. Not as good as Rudder though, but it's acceptable. Okay, to me at least. I'm gonna go here and then include the online subsystem. Okay, and we need to create something. Let me give it some time to actually go through the indexing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say online subsystem get. This will give us the online subsystem basically. It's online subsystem. Okay, it's an interface, but it has a static function get, which will get the online system you're using. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say, okay, what's the type? It's a pointer. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold a reference to that. This will be a private part. Online subsystem. Okay, and this one will be equals to that. Which reminds me, we haven't really make the online subsystem to be the online system US yet. It's another thing I forget. Let's go set it up real quick here. Okay, so we need to go to the website. And then this time what we search is search for Epic Online Service and then UE5 documentation. Okay. This one. No, I'm wrong. So search for UE5 documentation and then EOS. That should do it. Okay, alright. So this documentation gives you some important things we need to do with the basically the default engine setup. We need to have these guys in. There are a bunch of optional things there, but this is needed to enable the online subsystem. Basically, you can see it's enabling the online subsystem and set it to be the one being used, and set the net driver to be it also. And there's a fallback setup. And then also enables the P2P sockets, which enables us to host listening server basically. Have that copied here, and then we need to go here and look for our configuration and then default engine here, right? Super long, but go to the very bottom and paste that in, right? One little step I forget to do in the previous video. Should have done that. Okay, so this is going to be enabling the actual online subsystem now. Okay, so quite a bit of creating and filling there before we can actually coding. Now we can go back here and do our coding. Okay, so we have the online subsystem there. Now let's set up a bunch more, right? There's another one called online session pointer, or we can ask the online subsystem to give us a bunch of things like get identity interface, for example. This will give us the login capability there, and its type is online identity pointer. Okay, so let me do that. Identity pointer equals to that. Okay, and this again is a online identity t-shirt pointer, right? So I guess we can have that in there too. If I can look for the actual type define this guy. Oh, this guy here. Got that. Yeah, now we can put it in there. And then identity pointer, I need to hold a reference of that here as well, so that I don't have to create it again and again when I need to use it. So yes, we can use that to log in. Okay, let me create a function to do that. This one will be public. void login lowercase I guess. What's wrong with my typing today? Login, right? So go ahead and ask the identity pointer. And we need to check if this thing is existing before we do anything else, right? And then we can say identity pointer login. Identity pointer login. Now you can see we don't have access to the internal functions. That's because we're not having it included. I believe it's interfaces, and then identity pointer online identity interface, yes. And then we can do the things like login, for example. Right, login requires us to know which player are we logging in, the local user number. It's always going to be 0 unless you're doing split screen, then you have multiple ones, right? Online account credentials, we need that. Credentials, online accounts credentials. Okay. And then we need to set up a bunch of things. These credentials can give you a bunch of settings, like actually not a lot. ID, token, and type. All we care about is the type. The type will be equals to account portal. And then this will pop up the actual account portal for us to log in there, right? And then the other things doesn't care. And let's see, .id equals to nothing. And then the online account shows, and then this token is also nothing. Okay, so we're going to use that as the online account credentials. Okay, now the login is asynchronous, so we need to actually subscribe to the changes, and that's better to be done here. Otherwise you're subscribing multiple times and you have to unsubscribe it. So identity pointer login complete delegates add u object, right? And then that's ampersand us game instance colon logged in, or login complete, I guess. It's not necessarily logged in, it could fail, right? So let's just take a look at the signatures. You can see it has 4 parameters, right? These guys. Let me copy that. It's missing one parameter in this setup. I think the macro is doing some internal magic. Maybe this is defining the players for some reason. Okay, all right. So we need to create our function. Void login completed with these guys, but we need one more parameter, which is the int num of players. Okay, I believe that's what that is. I could be wrong. Let's get rid of that. Oh, what's going on with me? Get rid of that, and then get rid of that. If you got any arrows, that should pop up. Alrighty, I'm going to create the definition, and then should be completed. Okay, now we need to check, right? If B was successful, then we do a log, I guess. Log temp warning text logged in. Else we also log. We can log out the error. So log failed, and then we pass in the error. Okay. Alrighty, that should be the login parts, basically. Nothing too difficult to do. Okay, alrighty. Now of course we cannot test it yet, so we're gonna stop the video now because it's approaching 10 minutes, and the next one we're gonna set it up with an UI so we can call that function eventually, which means that this has to be a U function, blueprint callable. That's it. Alrighty. So yeah, let's jump to the next video. We can set up the UI to actually do the login. All right, see you guys next time.